Genesis chapter 46. Jacob journeys to Egypt. Then Israel set out with everything he owned and traveled to Beersheba. There he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. During the night, God spoke to Israel in a vision and said, "Jacob, Jacob." And Jacob replied, "Here I am." God said, "I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down to Egypt with you, and I will surely bring you back again. And Joseph's own hand will close your eyes." Then Jacob left Beersheba, and Israel's sons brought their father Jacob, their children, and their wives in the carts that Pharaoh had sent for their journey. They also took with them their livestock and the possessions they had acquired in the land of Canaan. And so Jacob and all his offspring went to Egypt, his sons and grandsons, his daughters and granddaughters. All his descendants he brought with him. Now these are the names of the sons of Israel, Jacob, who went to Egypt, Jacob and his descendants. Reuben was Jacob's firstborn. The sons of Reuben were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The sons of Simeon were Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Judah were Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah, but and Onan had died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamel. The sons of Issachar were Tola, Puah, Jashub, and Shimron. The sons of Zebulun were Sered, Elon, and Yaleel. These were the sons born to Jacob by Leah in Paddan Aram, along with his daughter Dinah. Altogether, the descendants of Leah numbered 33. The sons of Gad were Zephon, Hagi, Shuni, Esbon, Eri, Arodi, and Areli. The sons of Asher were Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah. Their sister was Sarah. The sons of Beriah were Heber and Malchiel. These were the children born to Jacob through Zilpah, the servant given to Leah by her father Laban, 16 in all. The sons of Rachel, Jacob's wife, were Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph had two sons born to him in Egypt by Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, Manasseh and Ephraim. The sons of Benjamin were Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ahi, Rosh, Muppim, Huppim, and Ard. These were the descendants of Rachel who were born to Jacob, 14 in all. The son of Dan was Husham. The sons of Naphtali were Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shillem. These were the sons born to Jacob through Bilhah, the servant given to Rachel by her father Laban, 7 in all. All those who went to Egypt with Jacob, those who were his direct descendants, not counting the wives of his sons, numbered 66. With the two sons who had been born to Joseph in Egypt, the total number of Jacob's family who went to Egypt was 70. Now Jacob sent Judah ahead to Joseph to get directions to Goshen. And when they arrived in the region of Goshen, Joseph had his chariot made ready and went to meet his father Israel. As soon as he appeared before him, he threw his arms around his father and wept for a long time. Israel said to Joseph, "Now I am ready to die, since I have seen for myself that you are still alive." Then Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, "I will go up and speak to Pharaoh and tell him, 'My brothers and my father's household, who were living in the land of Canaan, have come to me. The men are shepherds, they tend livestock, and they have brought along their flocks and herds and everything they own.' When Pharaoh calls you in and asks, 'What is your occupation?' you should answer, 'Your servants have tended livestock from our boyhood on, just as our fathers did.' Then you will be allowed to settle in the region of Goshen, for all shepherds are detestable to the Egyptians." Genesis chapter 47. Jacob meets Pharaoh and Egypt's great famine. Then Joseph went in and told Pharaoh, "My father and my brothers, along with their flocks and herds and everything they own, have come from the land of Canaan. They are now in the land of Goshen." He took 5 of his brothers and presented them before Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked them, "What is your occupation?" They replied, "Your servants are shepherds, just as our ancestors were." Then they said to Pharaoh, "We've come to live here for a while, because there is a severe famine in the land of Canaan, and your servants have no pasture for their flocks. So please let us settle in the land of Goshen." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Now that your father and your brothers have come to you, the land of Egypt is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best part of the land. Let them live in Goshen. And if you know of any capable men among them, put them in charge of my own livestock." Then Joseph brought in his father Jacob and presented him before Pharaoh. Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked Jacob, "How old are you?" Jacob said, "The years of my pilgrimage are 130. My years have been few and difficult, and they do not equal the years of the travels of my ancestors." Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh again and left his presence. Joseph settled his father and his brothers in Egypt, giving them property in the best part of the land, in the region of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had directed. He also provided his father, his brothers, and all his father's household with food, according to the number of their dependents. Now there was no food in the whole region, because the famine was severe. Both Egypt and Canaan wasted away because of the famine. Joseph collected all the money that was found in Egypt and Canaan in exchange for the grain people bought, and he brought the money to Pharaoh's palace. When all the money in Egypt and Canaan was gone, all the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, "Give us food. Why should we die in front of you? Our money is gone." Joseph replied, "If your money is gone, then bring me your livestock, and I will give you food in exchange." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and he gave them food in return for their horses, flocks, herds, and donkeys. He provided them with food through that year in exchange for all their animals. When that year was over, they came to him again and said, "We cannot hide the truth from you, my lord. Our money is gone, and all our livestock now belongs to you. There's nothing left to offer but our bodies and our land. Why should we perish before your eyes, both us and our land? Buy us and our land in exchange for food, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. Give us seed so that we may live and not die, and that the land won't become desolate." So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh. Every Egyptian sold his field, because the famine was too severe, and the land became Pharaoh's. Joseph moved the people into cities from one end of Egypt to the other. Only the land of the priests he did not buy, because they received a regular allotment from Pharaoh and ate from what Pharaoh provided. So they did not sell their land. Joseph then said to the people, "Today I have bought you and your land for Pharaoh. Here is seed for you, so you can plant the fields. But when the harvest comes, you must give a fifth of it to Pharaoh. The remaining 4 parts will be yours, for your fields, your food, and for your households and children. You have saved our lives," they said. "May we find favor in your eyes, our Lord. We will be Pharaoh's servants." So Joseph made it a law in Egypt, one that still stands, that a fifth of all the produce belongs to Pharaoh. Only the land of the priests did not become Pharaoh's. Meanwhile, the Israelites settled in Egypt, in the region of Goshen. They acquired property, were fruitful, and increased greatly in number. Jacob lived in Egypt for 17 years. Altogether, he lived 147 years. When the time drew near for Israel to die, he called for his son Joseph and said, "If I have found favor in your eyes, put your hand under my thigh and swear that you will show me kindness and faithfulness. Do not bury me in Egypt. When I rest with my ancestors, carry me out of Egypt and bury me where they are buried." Joseph said, "I will do as you say." Jacob said, "Swear to me." So Joseph swore to him, and Israel worshipped, leaning on the head of his bed. Genesis chapter 48, Jacob blesses Ephraim and Manasseh. Sometime later, Joseph was told, "Your father is ill." So he took his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, and went to see him. When Jacob heard that Joseph was coming, he gathered his strength and sat up in bed. Jacob said to Joseph, "God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. He said, 'I will make you fruitful and increase your numbers. I will make you a community of peoples and give this land to your descendants as an everlasting possession.' Now then," Jacob continued, "your 2 sons born to you in Egypt before I came here shall be counted as mine. Ephraim and Manasseh will be mine, just as Reuben and Simeon are mine. But any children born to you after them will be yours, and they will be counted under the names of their brothers when land is divided. As for me," Jacob said with emotion, "when I was returning from Paddan, to my sorrow, Rachel died in the land of Canaan while we were still on the journey, not far from Ephrath. I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is, Bethlehem." When Israel saw the 2 boys, he asked, "Who are these?" Joseph said, "They are the sons God has given me here." Jacob replied, "Bring them to me, so I may bless them." Jacob's eyes were failing because of old age, and he could barely see. So Joseph brought the boys close to him, and Jacob kissed them and embraced them. He said to Joseph, "I never expected to see your face again, and now God has let me see your children too." Then Joseph took the boys from his father's knees and bowed down with his face to the ground. Joseph took both of them, Ephraim on his right toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh on his left toward Israel's right hand, and brought them close. But Israel reached out his right hand and placed it on Ephraim's head. Then he blessed Joseph and said, "The God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm, may he bless these boys. May they be called by my name and the names of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and may they increase greatly upon the earth." When Joseph saw that his father had placed his right hand on Ephraim's head, he was displeased. So he took hold of his father's hand to move it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's. He said, "No, my father, this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head." But his father refused. "I know, my son, I know," he said. "Manasseh too will become a great people. He too will be strong. But his younger brother will be greater than he, and his descendants will become a multitude of nations." That day, Jacob blessed them and said, "By you, Israel will pronounce this blessing. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh." And so he put Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph, "I am about to die, but God will be with you, and will take you back to the land of your fathers. And to you, as one who is over your brothers, I give one more ridge of land than your brothers, land I took from the Amorites with my sword and my bow." Genesis chapter 49, Jacob's final blessing to his sons. Then Jacob called his sons together and said, "Gather around, and I will tell you what will happen to you in the days to come. Listen, sons of Jacob, pay attention to your father Israel. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my strength, and the first sign of my manhood, excelling in honor, excelling in power. But you're as unstable as water, and you will no longer excel. You defiled your father's bed. You went up onto it and dishonored me. Simeon and Levi are brothers. Their swords are tools of violence. Let me not enter their council. Let me not join their assembly. For in their anger they killed men, and out of their willfulness they hamstrung oxen. Cursed be their anger, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I will scatter them in Jacob and disperse them in Israel. Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub, Judah. You return from the prey, my son. Like a lion, he crouches and lies down. Who dares to rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until the one to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations shall be his. He ties his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. He washes his garments in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, his teeth whiter than milk. Zebulun will live by the seashore and become a haven for ships. His borders will extend toward Sidon. Issachar is a strong donkey, lying down between two burdens. When he sees how good his resting place is, and how pleasant the land, he will bend his shoulder. Dan will provide justice for his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan will be a snake by the roadside, a viper along the path that bites the horse's heels so that its rider falls backward. I look for your deliverance, Lord. Gad will be attacked by a band of raiders, but he will raid at their heels. Asher's food will be rich, and he will provide delicacies fit for a king. Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns and speaks beautiful words. Joseph is a fruitful vine near a spring, whose branches climb over a wall. With bitterness archers attacked him. They shot at him with hostility. But his bow remained steady. His strong arms stayed limber, because of the hand of the mighty one of Jacob, because of the shepherd, the rock of Israel, because of your father's God, who helps you, because of the Almighty, who blesses you with blessings of the skies above, blessings of the deep springs below, blessings of the breasts and womb. The blessings of your father are greater than the blessings of the ancient mountains, than the bounty of the age-old hills. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the crown of the prince among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours the prey, and in the evening he divides the plunder. These are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said to them when he blessed them. Each received the blessing that was appropriate to them. Then Jacob gave them this command: I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre in Canaan. It is the same cave that Abraham bought, along with the field, as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite. There Abraham and his wife Sarah were buried. There Isaac and Rebekah are buried, and there I buried Leah. The field and the cave in it were purchased from the Hittites. When Jacob had finished giving instructions to his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed, breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Genesis chapter 50, Joseph's grief and final words. Then Joseph threw himself over his father's face, wept over him, and kissed him. He ordered the physicians in his service to embalm his father's body, and so the doctors embalmed Israel. It took 40 days, the standard time for embalming, and the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. When the mourning period was over, Joseph spoke to Pharaoh's officials and said, If I have found favor in your eyes, please speak to Pharaoh for me. Tell him, my father made me swear an oath. He said, I am about to die. Bury me in the tomb I prepared for myself in Canaan. So let me go and bury my father, and I will return. Pharaoh replied, Go and bury your father, as he made you swear to do. So Joseph went to bury his father. With him went all of Pharaoh's officials, the elders of his court, and all the leaders of Egypt. Joseph's entire household, his brothers, and his father's household went too. Only their children and livestock were left behind in Goshen. A large number of chariots and horsemen also accompanied them. It was a very impressive and solemn procession. When they reached the threshing floor of Atad, near the Jordan, they held a great and solemn ceremony of mourning. Joseph observed 7 days of mourning for his father. When the Canaanites who lived in the area saw the mourning at the threshing floor, they said, The Egyptians are holding a solemn ceremony of mourning here. That is why the place was named Abel Mizraim, meaning the mourning of Egypt, and it is located across the Jordan. So Jacob's sons did exactly as he had commanded them. They carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field at Machpelah, near Mamre. This was the burial place that Abraham had bought from Ephron the Hittite as a family burial site. After burying his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, along with his brothers and everyone who had gone with him to bury Jacob. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they became afraid. They said, What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrong we did to him? So they sent a message to Joseph, saying, Before he died, your father gave us this command. Tell Joseph to forgive his brothers for the great wrong they did to him. Please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father. When Joseph received the message, he wept. Then his brothers came to him in person, bowed down before him, and said, We are your servants. But Joseph said to them, Do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to bring about what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children. And he reassured them with kind and gentle words. Joseph remained in Egypt with his father's family. He lived to be 110 years old. He lived to see the third generation of Ephraim's children and the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, who were born and raised on his lap. Joseph said to his brothers, I am about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Joseph made the Israelites swear an oath. He said, When God comes to your aid, you must carry my bones up from this place. Joseph died at the age of 110. They embalmed him, and he was placed in a coffin in Egypt.